And a half an hour into all of the opening day festivities in baseball, and we have a little bit of history. Because Austin Wells, the bottom of the first inning for the Yankees, led off with a home run. He's a catcher for the Yankees. He becomes the first catcher with a leadoff home run on opening day in MLB history. Now, that's a lot of qualifiers, right? Catcher, leadoff home run, has to be on opening day. There's not probably a big sample size there of catchers hitting leadoff on opening day, but you see something new in baseball every single day. Today is no different. Austin Wells with a home run to lead off the game for the Yankees in the bottom of the first catcher with a leadoff home run on opening day in MLB history. That game right now taking place over on ESPN. And speaking of ESPN, they put out, hot off the presses, 257 selections, a full 7-round mock draft. So Matt Miller over at ESPN, he was the one who was given this lengthy task of making all 257 selections in the NFL draft, and we're going to hold him to this. We're going to cross-reference this when it comes to the draft and see how well he did. No, we're not going to do that. But I do think it is a very interesting thing to take a look at. Why? Because then the board becomes real. Right? It's easy to say, draft a wide receiver in the first round. Or, draft a defensive tackle in the second round because you took a receiver in the first round. Or draft an edge in this spot because you did this with your first two picks. The board then becomes real. You have to respond to what all of the teams around you do. So here is what Matt Miller came up with all of the picks for the Arizona Cardinals. He's got, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 picks for the Cardinals. In round 1, he has them taking Marshall edge Mike Green. In round 2, he has Iowa State wide receiver Jalen Knoll. In round 3, LSU offensive lineman Emory Jones. Round 4, Kentucky defensive tackle Deion Walker. Round 5, USC corner Jalen Smith. And in round 7, Florida linebacker Shamar James. Now, I'm not going to pretend to have a scouting breakdown on every single one of these players. I am not going to break down these 6 players, the good, the bad, what they bring, what they don't bring. I'm not going to do that. But what I'm interested in is the methodology. I'm interested in what positions were taken. So you took an edge in round 1. You then came back in round 2 and took a wide receiver. In round 3, you worked on your offensive line. In round 4, you went defensive tackle, corner, and then linebacker, rounded out your 6 selections. So I'll ask you, positionally, isn't this checking every single box for the Cardinals? Think about what this team needs. Think about what we want them to attack in the draft. We want them to attack another edge player. We want them to attack a wide receiver. We think interior offensive line could be in play with the 16th overall pick. More help on the interior of the defensive line is also something we've debated. Their first 4 picks, edge, wide receiver, offensive line, defensive tackle, we have discussed all of those as legitimate, real possibilities with the 16th overall pick. All of them. Doubling down at edge or defensive tackle, right? That's the double down bucket. Edge, defensive tackle. That's exactly what they do in round 1 by taking Mike Green out of Marshall, a guy who's just shooting up the boards and is a super popular name at this spot. I don't know if he'll be there at 16. If he is, I think I'd run in the card. I could understand a willingness to want to run in that card if he's on the board at the 16th overall pick. But the other 2 positions we've talked about, if they go away from doubling down, is wide receiver and offensive line. And that just so happens to be what they do with their next 2 picks. And then in round 5 and round 7, they get some more corner depth, which we've said that they've needed, and they go out and get another linebacker. They had a lot of turnover in that group this offseason. This checks every box. There's not a position missing from this 7-round mock draft. We want them to get an edge at some point. We want them to get a wide receiver at some point. We want them to get an offensive lineman at some point. We want them to get a D tackle at some point. We want them to check all of those boxes during this draft. And in the first 4 rounds, Matt Miller in his mock draft checked every single one of them. Every single one of them. So the players, I don't know. I don't know a lot about Emory Jones. I don't know a lot about Jalen Smith, the corner out of USC. I don't know a lot about these players to be able to tell you good pick or bad pick. But positionally, looking at this from the methodology, how it was attacked, how can you not say this checks every box? How can you not say this would be a home run from just a organizational perspective of what this team is lacking, what this team needs to address in the draft? Are all of these players going to pan out? The statistics say no. But attacking the positions that they need, attacking the areas of upgrade, this is an A+. This is an A+. To get an edge, to get a wide receiver, offensive lineman, D-tackle, to take some flyers in round 5 and round 7 on a corner and a linebacker to help those groups out. I mean, I don't think you can do any better. If you handpick the 7 positions, you couldn't do any better than this. Think about the roster. Do they need another quarterback? No. Do they need another running back? No, they did that last year. Do they need another tight end? No, I think they're set there. You've got a wide receiver. You're getting an offensive lineman. Okay, go to defense. Do they need another safety? Corner, check. Edge, check. I mean, they're doing everything. They're doing everything that they need to accomplish in the draft. So I hope that it plays out this way on draft night. I hope that over the 3 days in April, they're able to get a haul like this and check these boxes at these positions. Because this would be a home run. This would be a way to land every single thing that they need to do in the draft and to do it in one fell swoop. So most of the time you kind of double down. You take a couple of swings. So there might be 2 edges. They may take 2 wide receivers, whatever the case may be. But this is each round. Okay, what do we need? How does the board match up? Okay, boom, we're taking an edge here. Oh, okay, boom, we're taking a wide receiver. Okay, we need an interior offensive lineman. All right, Emory Jones on the board. All right, he's the best player available. Boom, let's go. It's just perfect. And it's perfect with them taking Mike Green in the first round, an edge. So it has them doubling down. Has them doubling down in the first round and still making it out okay. And still getting everything else that they want. So I don't know how you can't look at this and say that is probably the ideal way for April to go. That is probably the ideal way for this to play out. Now, we're going to continue to debate over the next month or so what they should do with the 16th overall pick. Double down, go in a different direction, trade down, all of it. Still a hearty debate, healthy debate. I'd still like to see this team trade down. I still am in the camp of, hey, let's explore a wide receiver. Let's explore an interior offensive lineman. But I'm also not committed fully to that belief. I want to see the board come to me at 16. I want to see who's available. If there's a can't-miss player who none of us think's going to be there at 16, ends up getting there at 16, then you pause and you think about it for a second, and then maybe you go in that direction. So I'm not married to that philosophy. It's just where I'm leaning right now. I'm leaning towards trading down. I'm leaning towards going interior offensive line or wide receiver with the 16th overall pick. That's just where I'm leaning. But I'm not going to fault them if they hand in the card because Mike Green is available or somebody falls. We've talked about Abdul Carter falling. That's never going to happen, but he's the extreme example. You run that card in if that happens. So you're not married to a specific idea. You're not married to a specific philosophy. You certainly can't be at this time of year. You certainly can't be married to a certain direction when there's 15 teams in front of you that will be selecting and can mess up your draft plans pretty quickly.